All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something that's probably affecting your business right now, whether you know it or not. It's this hidden liability that, believe it or not, actually grows as you become more successful. Yep, you heard that right. As your company has grown, as you've scaled up, you've also been building up something called operational debt. It's kind of the dark side of success, and it has a very, very real cost. And this is really the question you need to ask yourself, because this isn't some line item on a balance sheet. You and your team are paying the interest on this debt every single day, often in ways that are hard to see. So let's unpack this idea. What is this hidden liability? Well, it has a name, operational debt. But what does that actually mean? Where does it even come from? I bet the screen looks painfully familiar to a lot of you. Operational debt is born from this patchwork of systems. You've got your storefront over here, your ERP, your warehouse management system, portals for your 3PLs, a help desk, probably 10, maybe 15 different apps that don't talk to each other. And what holds it all together? Brittle custom scripts and just a ton of manual effort from your team. So if that mess of systems is the debt, what's the interest payment? Well, that's what we're calling the ops complexity tax. It's the price you pay every day for having that debt. And here's the simplest way to think about it. The ops tax is the cost of all the work your team has to do around your technology instead of through it. It's every workaround, every manual data entry, every time someone has to swivel their chair from one screen to another just to get a simple answer. It eats away at your margins, constantly. And the natural instinct is to say, let's just get another piece of software, or let's outsource this one task. But that's just a Band-Aid. It's a temporary patch on a much deeper problem. To really get rid of the tax, you can't just patch the cracks. You have to build a whole new foundation. So let's talk about the real-world damage here. This isn't just some abstract idea. This tax has a huge negative impact on your bottom line, and, just as important, on the people who make your company run. Just look at this number for a second. Over 60%. That's a massive chunk of something incredibly valuable. But what is it? It's the amount of time your best people, the smart, strategic thinkers you hired to grow the business, are spending on mind-numbing repetitive work. We call it professional clicking. It's not just a waste of money, it's a waste of talent. And it is the fastest way to burn out your A players. And here's another scary number for you, 15 to 20%. This one hits your profit and loss statement directly. That's the typical error rate that comes from all that manual copy-pasting and reconciliation. And every single one of those errors kicks off a fire drill, a costly exception, an angry customer, an expensive refund. That is just profit leaking right out of your business. When you put it all together, you hit what we call a growth ceiling. It's this frustrating place where trying to scale your revenue just multiplies your problems. More orders means more complexity, more costs, more fires to put out. You're basically trapped. Okay, enough of the doom and gloom. We've defined the problem, we've seen how painful it is, so now let's imagine a completely different world. What does life look like when you actually get rid of this tax? The difference is, well, it's night and day. The before is chaos. You're logged into 5 different systems by 9 a.m., you're manually trying to figure out inventory levels, you're emailing your 3PL begging for shipping updates. The after is calm. 98% of your orders are handled without a human touching them. Your team spends maybe 15 minutes a day on the few exceptions, and instead of chasing information, they're looking at a single dashboard and focusing on things that actually grow the business, like new product launches. And this is the most critical point. Getting rid of the ops tax isn't just a cost-saving exercise. It's about buying back freedom. The freedom for your team and your capital to be invested in things that create real value instead of just keeping the lights on. So, how do you get to this after state? Well, like we said, it's not about buying one more app. It requires a totally different approach. It's about building a true operating system for your business. And that new foundation rests on a few key principles. First, you have to unify your tech stack into a single command center. Then, you automate all that repetitive work. Let AI workers handle it 24/7. When you do that, you virtually eliminate those costly errors. And the Holy Grail? You finally break that toxic link between growing revenue and growing headcount. That is what true scale looks like. Okay, let's talk about the money, because this new foundation has an incredible impact on the financial health of your business. And the benefits aren't just immediate, they actually compound over time. So for, let's say, a $20 million brand, the results are pretty amazing. We're talking a 30 to 50% cut in operating expenses, a 5 to 10% boost in gross margin just from plugging all those profit leaks. And of course, that incredible 98% of orders process with zero human intervention. I mean, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Look at this. Total monthly operational costs plummet from nearly $37,000 to just over $12,000. That's not an optimization. That's total transformation of your cost structure. And for anyone who loves the details, here's how it breaks down. You see savings everywhere, but look at the two big ones: order exceptions and leakage. Together, that's over $16,000 a month in hidden costs that were just vanishing. Now, most of that is flowing straight back to the bottom line. And remember, this creates a virtuous cycle. It's not a one-and-done saving. The less time your team spends on firefighting, the more time they spend on growth. The faster you grow, the more resources you have to reinvest, and the benefits just keep compounding. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Seriously, take a second and think about it. What would it actually mean for your business, for your team's sanity, and for your own peace of mind to leave all that firefighting and manual click work behind for good? What could you build with all that reclaimed time and money?